and that way you guys can hold me responsible for whatever I say. So let's get this thing fired up. So I am Tim West, for better or for worse. So that's what I do, and I'm very fortunate to have this opportunity to work in this class with my friend and colleague Eric Valentine.
Hello.
So Professor Valentine's right there, and he's the one with the baritone voice. I have the screechy old man voice. So if you get confused, that's a dead giveaway. So Professor Valentine has been working the classes on the ground at Tulane all day, and he's had ups and downs in terms that he's been in 3 different rooms, and the most unusual was one of the giant rooms they have now out on the quad that they built, that we're calling the airplane hangar.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen it, that's well, I know you've seen it, but if you haven't been in it, then yeah, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. So
and sounds
anyway,
like.
Yeah, it's they can't hear each other. They could hear Eric on one side of the room. They could hear me on the other side of the room. So maybe we get the best of both worlds right here. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Well, let's go ahead and try this and see if we can make a dent in this stuff and see where we go. So we want to set the stage a little bit. One thing that has happened is that in the last maybe 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, there's kind of been a change in the way that 3010 has been structured. And so we'll kind of go over some of those things a little bit, but our schedule is a little bit different in terms of timings because we adjusted some exams and some of those things. So we hope it's all been adjusted to your benefit. That's our strategy, and that's the one thing you can count on with us, is that we're going to try really hard to, if we make mistakes, we're going to make mistakes in your favor. So that's the thing you can expect from us. So let's see if we can talk about the logistics. Oops. So here's the logistics. Eric, tell them a little bit about your phone and your email and access.
Yeah, now what you have on the screen is my office phone. But so basically, it's probably best for you to get in contact with me via email. You know, if you need to, like, actually during class time. But yeah, so we turn that around pretty quickly, and you know, you have Dr. West's cell phone and email. Obviously, with this being an online course, we don't have face-to-face office hours, but we have you know, we're available for, you know, almost basically 12 hours a day. Well, yeah, 12 hours a day from 9 to 9, except on Fridays. Fridays we're going to cut out a little bit early, so about from 9 to 4 on Fridays, I would imagine. But yeah, so yeah, catch up with us. Those are the 4 sections that we teach. The 4 sections are virtually identical in their in the content, not so much the presentation, with this being completely online. But yeah, so it's all the 4 sections are exactly the same. We pretty much do the same thing. We've been working on this thing for a while, and now it's time to fly this plane.
Yeah, the good news for you all is we practiced 3 times before we get to you. So by now we've thrown out all the slides that were terrible, and we get right down to it. So you know, we get you done real efficiently here in the evening. So that'll be okay. In terms of my cell phone, make sure you feel like you could text me as well. So just put your name in the text so I know who I'm talking to.
Yeah, and let me say real quickly that, you know, this is a matter of what you see on Gibson is an archive of the IT system, because I am the professor of record, which means that my name went first. But we both are jointly and collaboratively teaching this. So either you can reach out to either one or both of us at any time, and you'll get consistent help.
Yeah, I always talk about you can conjure us up out of nowhere. So if you just send us a note, we can hop on Zoom with you kind of anytime.
Right.
So that would be great. Hey, we got about half the class now that has dark screens. So at least for tonight, I would really appreciate it and if everybody could let me at least see faces. You know, I understand that in China it's 8 o'clock in the morning, and so I get that. But heavens, it's 7 o'clock here at night, so I'm barely hanging in there as an old person. So what we need is I just like to see everybody one time. You may not want to do that ongoing, but I would appreciate it tonight.
Yeah. You you have us at a disadvantage. You get to see our mugs, but we can't see yours.
That's right. So anyway, that's kind of the structure. Make sure you realize you can get to us anytime, and don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Okay. Hi Haley, how are you? Do you have any questions about that? You got to ask me a question. What do you want to know about that, Haley?
I'm okay. I don't have any questions.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Thank you.
All right, all right. I'm really pesky about calling on people, so so watch out. So Hong Yang, yeah, surprised you too, didn't I?
Hi. Good morning.
I'm gonna leave you alone for now, but I just wanted you to know I'm watching you. Okay, so. Professor Valentine and I had a slide right after this one that we've been using that never landed about fiscal year. So tonight we're moving on and we're going to talk about our teaching philosophy in general. So Eric, you want to start this and let me finish it, or what do you want to do?
Sure. I can start. Do I have the screen or you?
I got it. So.
Yeah.
I need to advance it one.
Yep.
He says with some reluctance. Okay, I think I did it.
Yeah. Yep. There you go. So I'm from Chicago, Illinois, the greatest city ever incorporated in the history of municipalities.
Now, first and foremost, you got to write that down because that'll be the first question on your exam. Okay. Which city does Professor Valentine think is the greatest city ever incorporated?
Greatest city ever incorporated in the history of municipalities.
Okay, all right. So that's question one. That's question one.
We're not psychic, but I see that in your future.
Yeah, that's right.
So this class is not a response to COVID-19. This class, as it is being as it has been designed, has been going on for quite some time. This is my third year at Tulane, but I've been knowing Tim for a lot longer than that, 20 something years. So
probably right.
Yeah, so getting the opportunity to work with him and work together was a treat. So what we wanted to do was to create a class that's going to be innovative. We wanted to have a Tulane branded special experience, and this is kind of what we're, and it's a work in progress, but this is what we've developed thus far. So we're going to have we want to have innovative classroom instruction. We want you to take risk. Just stay in the moment. You guys have had so much change. The world has had so much change and uncertainty in the past 6 months. We are adaptable. We are an adaptable people, and so just embrace the risk taking. Stay in the moment. Just hang with us. There are going to be some challenging times, but don't give up the ship.
One of the things we really want to emphasize in this stay in the moment is we're only together twice a week. Okay, and so we've only got our time from 7 to 8, 10. So that amounts to obviously 70 minutes. I'm not sure that we can count on at this time of the night or in the morning if you're in China that you can stay focused for a full 70 minutes, but I'd like to get at least 50. Okay, so we're looking for a solid set of concentration for about 50 minutes. And if you can give us your best 50 minutes, we'll make sure we prepare you the best we can possibly prepare you for the exams that you've got to do and the work that you need to do in this class. So for us, this staying in the moment is critical. And so make sure if you've got some challenges facing you and it's going to be hard, just let us know and we'll certainly work with you. Go ahead, Eric. I've already messed up a couple of times, so I've failed quickly and now I've moved on. So go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what we do, you know, and that's what you would do as well. Everybody's going to make mistakes. We're going to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes. Again, we just correct them and move on. And again, the mistakes that we make, you know, we're going to screw up some problems because we do that a lot. But if we make a mistake in grading or some sort of assessment, we'll always make the mistake in your favor. But yeah, just, you know, if you make a mistake, just it's kind of like the workout analogy: no pain, no gain. You learn much more from your mistakes than you do by you learn much more from your failures than you do from your successes. So we're going to build on those, and you know, it's not a bad thing, is what I'm trying to say. Make an impact. This is a challenging environment, this online environment. However, we envision this course as being a conversation between the three of us, myself, Dr. West, and the collective you. And so, you know, participation is going to be important and energizing and creative and impactful in this course. And so, you know, add some value. You add some value to every night you come here. We're going to give you our all, and we want you to give us your all as well.
Yeah, and every class period will be different. Some days you're going to feel it. Some days you're not. And so just being with us in the moment will work out great. We look at the next one. You might have noticed that Professor Valentine and I look almost exactly the same.
Yes.
Well, we've embraced each other's differences. We've learned a lot from each other, especially during these very tumultuous times. And so what we have in this particular class is just a wide range of folks from all kinds of places. And that's the perfect kind of class to have. Absolutely the perfect kind of class to have. Yeah. So to me, those are exciting. That's kind of why Professor Valentine and I do this thing. So we look forward to seeing how you help us, the different styles you bring to the table. Make sure we're aware, because we treat this class, we got like 24 people in this class. We treat this class as 24 independent studies that happen to meet at the same time.
Yeah. Everybody's
journey is going to be different, and we accept that. We're not going to force you down one particular path. So we're all in on this idea of collaboration and co-creation. So watch for that one. Take us home on that one, Eric.
Yeah, you know your audience, listen to understand, simplify and beware of jargon. My wife is a revenue agent for the IRS, the United States, you know, Internal Revenue Service, and she speaks in jargon all the time, and I have no idea what she's talking about. So if you can explain a concept to a 5-year-old, you understand it very well. But if you cannot explain a concept to a 5-year-old, you don't know it that well yourself. And so it's just our philosophy is to try to convey the information. We don't need to show you how smart we are. That would be very dangerous because we'd embarrass ourselves. But our job is to convey the information to you as plainly as possible. And if there you have any fuzziness at all regarding any of the content, the onus is on you to bring us back and say, hey, you know, I didn't quite get that. You know, repeat that, explain it a different way. Can we see another example? The onus is on you for that.
Yeah, you got to help us. We're in this thing as a team. So you might be familiar with some of these things. Eric's from Chicago. I spent some time in Chicago as well. Had a chance to work at the Second City in Chicago, the Improv House. So all of these are improv factors or improv basics. And I would also argue that every one of these items is something that'll affect you in your career.
Yep.
So be prepared for always kind of embracing that and building your skill set out of that. We run a very practical and applied class. So the way we look at this is we're getting you ready right now for interviewing for internships. So that's one of the things we're trying to bring to the table as well. Let's see, what else is next? Oh, tell us where we're going. Tell us where we're going, Professor Valentine.
Yeah. So we have 6 bricks in a slab. That's
Now, this is a very second city thing, because they always talk about bring a brick, not a cathedral. So you'll hear this theme throughout the semester. We all bring our individual bricks. We try to create something, build something that wasn't there before. And so I've imposed this on Professor Valentine, and he has embraced it. So take us through it.
Yeah, so our foundation is our self-awareness. You saw the VIA, or you will see the VIA assessment shortly. Everyone has different sets of strengths, and my strengths are different from Tim's, and but we have synergy when we work together, and so that's kind of the point of the collaboration, is that capitalize on your strengths, and certainly don't discount someone else because they don't have your strengths. If you have a team and they all have the same strength, it's not a very strong team. So our foundation is your self-awareness. Your self-awareness of who you are, what your strengths are, how you learn, your value add. Now, from the accounting standpoint, we have these our fundamental brick base. We're going to start with our cost, volume, profit. That's it's kind of what if analysis. What if costs go up? What if volume changes? How does that affect profit? We'll see that very, very, very shortly. The linchpin to that section is basically how costs behave as opposed to how costs function. Like, this isn't like 2010 at all. This isn't what we do is provide information to get to that top brick that we'll talk about in a moment. Secondly, we have our cost classification estimation. Where do these costs go? How do these costs behave? How much do we estimate our costs? How much cost do we think we're going to have given a certain level of volume, given a certain level of circumstances? Finally, we have our cost flows and our job costs, and that's probably as close to 2010 as we're going to get this semester.
Recognize that we try to stay as far away from 2010 as we can. Neither one of us do debits and credits and anymore. We can do them if we have to, but that's not the thing we're going to drive this class through. So one of the things that he just pointed out was these first 2 bricks. That's your first exam.
Yep.
Okay. These 2 bricks are going to be your second exam, and then this one we're going to tie it up to here so that you get those things together. Those will be available to you Those will be on the final. So, you'll have the luxury of being able to take those problems on the final. So that's kind of the way we're trying to do this. But one of the things that we'll talk about here in just a second is one of the things Eric has done for you guys is put together this project that kind of goes along with things. So what we've tried to do is split the course up into 2 assessment components. So the first one is effort-based, and you got 40% of your grade based on these things. And we're just trying to give you these points. Okay, this is all based on effort. It's not based on whether you get an answer right or wrong. Okay, so does that communicate? So Maria, tell me a little bit about what your reaction is to having 40% of your grade just based on, okay, I'll give it my best shot. What do you think of that?
I think that's great.
You can work with that? Beatrice, can you work with that? Beatrice, you gonna work with that? Just give me a thumbs up if you're okay. That's cool.
Well, let me jump in.
Oh,
Let me
go
jump
ahead.
in real quick. From a technical standpoint, the homework is a foundational 15 in the textbook, and that's going to be turned in through Canvas via Connect. Right now, your syllabus as printed says that we would not use Connect. That's one of the changes that we made recently, and so we have to change that on the syllabus. You will need Connect
Thank you.
to turn in that homework.
So, but our goal here is to give you a foundation of 40% of the grade before you even start. Okay. So it's up to you to lose it. That's the challenge here. You've got it. I mean, even Brandon has it. And so I'm not as sure about Nick. I think Nick has it. But he's my Matisse guy. So anyway, these you have, and we put that in there on purpose just to make sure that that you can see some of the relevance.
There's money on the table. Don't walk away from it.
Yeah, and I think that's a great way to talk about it. This is what you've got. Don't leave it. Don't leave it. So then we want to talk a little bit about these achievement pieces. So yeah, you've got 60% down here on the exams. But we also, Professor Valentine and I made a change over lunch today, and it involves the 2 midterm exams. Originally, we thought these would be 15% each. What we're going to do now, and Max, you can help me with this one, see if you think this is fair, okay? What we've decided to do is take that 30% and turn it into 10 and 20. And so whichever one is your best midterm, we'll weight it 20%. Whichever one is your least best, we'll weight it 10%. So this goes along with the idea that it's kind of random that we pick exam days, and there's no guarantee that you'll be at your best on a particular exam day. So Max, what's your reaction to that one?
I think that's very good for all of us.
So. Well, I hope so. Sienna, what do you think? You good? All right.
Good, yeah.
So we view these as the 3 games you're going to play. So if you're a sports person, even if you're a theater person, these are our 3 productions. And we've got to get you ready for those 3. And that's our job as your accounting coaches. We need to make sure you're prepared to go in and succeed. Okay? So we talk a lot about this idea of you practice. You go in, you practice, you get better, you try to anticipate what your opponent's going to do, what the audience is going to want, any of those kinds of things. So when you see things change, you can adapt to it on the fly. So that's our goal, trying to get you geared up for those 3 games in the season. Tell us a little bit, Professor Valentine, about this semester project, because that thing, for some reason, that's 15% of my grade. What's the story on that?
Yeah, it's a creative project that we're going to have you do in groups, and what you're going to do is you're going to create a company, and we're going to drive the accounting knowledge through this company that you create, and so it's worth roughly an exam, but I don't want you to think of it as this capstone, term paper sort of thing. Our job is to get you this knowledge as stress-free as possible. This should be an interesting project. Hopefully it'll be fun. Hopefully it will be a bit of work, but it'll be useful work. Neither Dr. West nor I are into busy work. Do problems 1 through 15, or well, we do have a foundation of 15. That's different. Do exercises 1 through 15, and problems 1 through 17. Just because we don't think you're working hard enough. That's not what we do. We everything that we have planned has a specific purpose to bring you to the end of the semester competent. And so there are going to be like eight deliverables, eight pieces of work that you're gonna have to give us. And the first one's really easy. The first one is just kind of select your company. You know, tell us a story. What do you want to create? This the go-to problem last semester was coffee shops. Okay, all right, you know, I'm kind of coffeeed out, so let's be a bit more creative than that. And so, you know, it should be something tangible and real. You know, don't create like a nuclear reactor. You know, it's something that hopefully that we'll have. You know, you'll have a little bit of inventory that's realistic.
Yeah. If you're creating a nuclear reactor, you automatically get an A in the course and an A in thermodynamics.
Exactly.
So it's a twofer.
Exactly. So as the course progresses, we're going to give you a set of tools, and you're going to incorporate those tools into the project. Like the first one is a variable cost and income statement. That means nothing to you right now, but next week we're going to introduce that concept to you, and when that piece is due in a couple of weeks, September 13th, when that piece is due in September 13th, you will have the basis to create that. We will also provide you templates as well, because look, this is the effort-based assessment. We want you to attend to it. We want you to pay attention to it. We want you to work hard on it, but we don't want you to stress over it. So, so as we have a module and a concept, you're going to take that module and concept, incorporate it into the semester project.
I think
So we have
other thing. Oh, I'm sorry. One other thing I'd say about that is that this also gears you up for your internships, because this will be something you can talk about in your internship interviews, and you can say, okay, here was an idea that I was excited about. I had a chance to take my schoolwork and apply it to something, plan for something, and all of those pieces are things that folks are going to know when they interview you. So this will be a nice thing for you to be able to talk about throughout that process, because you're all coming up on those pretty soon. So be prepared for that. Anything else on this slide?
No, we're good. We're good.
Okay. Hey, Eduardo, how are you, sir?
Fine, thank you.
Oh, good. Do you have any questions about the way we're assessing performance, or any suggestions, anything you've seen in different classes that we haven't thought about? Anything that you'd like to see us do? This is your chance. This is your chance.
I think it's pretty good.
That's the spirit. I always tell my students, suck up early and often. So anyway, we'll do what we can for you. All right. So
a couple of things.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple of things I do want to mention. The foundational 15, those pieces, that work should be done prior to the discussion of the module. So that piece, you know, that's your introductory piece. That's going to assure us that you have introduced concepts to yourself, because it's much more challenging for us to introduce and explain in one week or one module, one class period. Introduce it to yourself. You know, do a little background, do the foundational 15. So it's due prior to the discussion of the module. The second thing is that also on Connect, you will see other homework that has been assigned, with air quotes assigned, but it's not, as you see in your assessments, it's not for credit. Those are your practice problems, and so you do them if you like. Again, we're not into busy problems. You know, if you busy work rather. If you don't feel that practice is valuable to you, that, you know, no harm, no foul. We provided this for you, and we will cover a lot of those in class, and so we provided those for you for the practice, for the repetition, for, you know, the competency for the exam. sometimes you may think if you look at it one time, you may think that you have it, but practice makes perfect. So my point is that Foundation of 15 is for credit. You have to do it. It's for, it's effort based. So we're grading it very, very generously. The other problems are for your personal edification.
Yeah, and yeah, so we'll set it up that way. All right. Let's see, what else we got? We've kind of talked about those things. One of the things I did want to talk about is the flow of the class. We've done earlier in the day, we did kind of a setup for a 3-day class. Tonight we have to think about this 2-day class. And the 2 days are going to be kind of, our Monday and Wednesday are going to be pretty much like this. We don't do a lot of lecture. This is probably the most lecture we'll do. We tend to focus more on maybe a little bit of a setup, and then go right into working problems that we structure our lecture around the problems. And so one of the things you have to prepare for is every Monday, you need to make sure you have access on your computer to the handouts and the Excel downloads you need for that week. Okay, so you'll find those out on Canvas. We've set those up for you so that you can track along with the problems that we're going to work, and you've got an Excel spreadsheet that we're going to work on the screen for you to show you how to do it. The spreadsheet is also available to you. We also put those out there as PDFs, so that if you prefer to have them on your tablet and you'd like to write on them in a little bit different way, then you've already got it set up that way. So those are the things you're responsible for. It's important that you have them available when we get ready to start class, because I probably won't have a lot of time, and certainly Professor Valentine is not going to have a lot of time to let you get those up to speed when we get started. Now, let's see. So when we go through those, also make sure that you realize that we've done introductory videos for each one of these modules. And tell them the story about the modules and the weeks, Professor Valentine.
Yeah, modules and the weeks are, one of the students asked me earlier today, basically, are they the same? And I can't really say that they are the same, but they are the same. So the modules generally follow a specific topic, but they follow the calendar even more closely. Because in the future, we don't know how the semester is going to expand and contract once things get back to normal. But we do know that the subject matter isn't going to change.
So we're trying to anticipate as many different scenarios as we possibly can. So that's why we have this stuff in so many different ways and set up in different approaches. Mm-hmm. Let's see. So Brandon, ask me a question.
Like any question?
Anything. Ask me anything.
What's your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? Let's see. Probably Dead Poets Society. Huge Robin Williams fan, and on all sorts of things. But I tend to gravitate toward teacher-related movies and teachers that have proven ways to make a difference. And so at this point in my career, as I watch you all in your careers beginning and mine ending, you just hope as a professor you can make a difference for folks like you. And I know that Professor Valentine and I both feel very strongly about that. If you can avoid some of the mistakes that we've made, then we've kind of done our job.
Exactly.
So, yeah, we don't think you have to make the same ones we did, but you'll make your own. So in terms of movies, that's where I'd go.
My movie choices. My movie choice is not quite as highbrow as Dr. West. Mine is Unforgiven. I just like Western shoot 'em ups. So I just all the little sappy sort of Clint Eastwood movies I can do without. If he has a gun and a bottle of whiskey, I'm in.
All right. So let's see. What else have we got? We talked about these things. One thing that is a little bit different are these discussion boards. And so what we'll wind up doing is you'll be broken up into groups, and groups will be responsible for a weekly discussion board. So what's going to happen here is, for example, we'll probably have 3 people. You can read this in the syllabus too. But we're going to have 3 folks that'll serve as moderators for the discussion board, and your responsibility is to make sure your classmates are participating, okay? Because your grade does depend on this. We've got to get 80% of your classmates to participate. If they don't, your grade suffers, all right? So remember, if you don't participate in somebody's discussion board, what's their incentive to help you? So we've got to take care of each other. We've got to take care of each other. So we're trying to make these discussion boards more about this idea of how would you apply accounting as opposed to just something technical about accounting. So those will be, I think, a little bit unique in terms of the way we try to handle those. Anything else about those? We'll spend some more time talking about the project itself on Monday, but that's kind of those pieces.
Yeah, and let me jump in also and say, the point is for what we're trying to do here is not so much give you a whole lot of technical data for you to be able to, be a technical accountant. QuickBook does accounting. We want you to your value add is going to be your decision making ability, and we're trying to give you the tools to think broadly, to think creatively, to be an asset to your organization sooner than your competitors. And so our focus on this in this course is going to be on the decision-making side. You're going to need some technical tools to get there, but this isn't really a technical. We're not presenting this as much as a technical accounting class as we will make it a decision-making course.
Now, and the other thing about that is we don't anticipate that everybody wants to be an accounting major. Most of you have to be in this class, and so because you have to be here, we might as well make the best of it. However, if you do want to become an accounting major, that's cool, but anything that we do in this class, be aware that I teach the next level up as well. So if I choose not to do something, I'll cover it later. So
yeah.
It all works out. So we won't let you, won't let this be a problem to you. Okay, next slide. Okay, this one I always like to ask. So do you ever ask your colleagues or your fellow students, what did you get on an assignment? Raise your hand if you've ever done that. You ever asked anybody how you did on an assignment? Raise your hands. Okay. Now, the question is, why do you ask? Why do you ask? Okay. Cameron, why would you ask somebody?
To see if my grade was like way out of range or if it was like normal.
Yeah, and I would do the same thing, but the person I know that I would ask is somebody who I anticipated didn't do very well. I'd find the dumbest person in the class and ask them that question. What did you get on the exam? Oh, you didn't get a point. I at least got 7. So that's like taking a chemistry test. The question ultimately is to say, okay, what are you getting out of it? And are we asking the question to make the other person feel good or to help ourselves? And so that's an interesting I hope, perspective, because we look at this as your individual journey, and it's not anybody else's but yours. So yeah, you share information, I get that, but be aware. Everybody asks the question, but they don't necessarily think about why they're asking the question. So that's one of the things that I tend to harp on. The next one I tend to think about a lot is, oops, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say my slide's not advancing. Okay, there you go.
My mistake. So ultimately, at the end, you got to decide how good do you want to be. It's not up to Eric. It's not up to me. You got to decide. Okay, and we're hoping that we can encourage you to do something special. That's what we're hoping for. Is that we've got a way to, or we find a way to help you realize the potential and all those kind of wonderful things, but actually put it into practice. We make a deal with you. You got a promise from us right now. You can write this down and keep it all semester. The promise from us is if we don't cover it in class, it won't be on the exam. So as Professor Valentine said earlier, you can get knee deep into the textbook if you want, but we've tried to summarize it for you in a couple of handouts. The textbook's a great reference. I mean, I even was a roommate with one of the authors back in the day. So and I still am mad at him, but that's okay. We didn't get our security deposit back, but nonetheless, the book is a great reference, but it's not everything. And so instead of asking you questions about what was on page 417, we're going to ask you something that you know is coming. So if you've ever done sports, if you've ever done theater, any of those kinds of things, you know that in practice they kind of have a run sheet or a call sheet. Here are the plays we're going to call. Before every exam, we're going to give you a call sheet. And you'll know exactly what's going to be on the test. And it will not be a surprise. It will not be a surprise. Okay? So we have to prepare you for those 3 games. But at the end of the day, you have to decide. Even in these difficult circumstances, you have to decide how good you want to be. And so whether you choose to be surfing while we have class, whether you choose to do whatever while we have this time, that's up to you. I can't change it. Now, Professor Valentine can because he has extra powers. But
they aren't supposed to know that yet.
I know. So I thought I was losing the audience, so I had to throw that one. But nonetheless, you're all busy. We want to make this a productive session for you. Anyway, that's ultimately our goal.
Is sticking with the sports analogy. Like I said, we don't throw curves. We throw high heat. I mean, we will be well tested.
High heat from a 60-year-old.
But you'll see it coming. You'll see it coming.
It's at this point I'd like to say one more thing about Professor Valentine. And I want you to take this very seriously from me as a friend of his. I'm 66, and this pandemic could have taken me out of the classroom for my career. So right now, what he has done for me is an incredibly gracious act to let me participate in these classes. And so it's a debt that I'll never be able to repay that young man. But I love to teach, and I saw my career coming to an end. So he's given me an opportunity to work inside the context of a class he's assigned, and given me an opportunity that I didn't think I would get. And so to me, that's the whole idea behind collaboration, and doing something for somebody else. And so he's been kind enough to let me into the class. I'll do everything I can to just like he said earlier, to make it worth the risk that he's taking to let me in here. So make sure you realize what kind of guy he is, and that if you need anything, this is a guy that will stand up for you and take care of you, and there is no doubt that'll happen.
Thank you, Tim. That's I appreciate that, but I'm not quite as benevolent as he would say, because there obviously had to be something in it for me. You know, we Tim and I have been knowing each other, like I said, well over 20 years, and to get the opportunity, Tim West is a master teacher, and for me to be able to collaborate with him, I mean, you guys are the winners. You know, between just being around him and for he and I to learn together, you guys are the beneficiaries. But I jumped at this opportunity because, yeah, we need more Tims. We need more Tims.
Or that's not what my family says. But nonetheless, I think that we're off to a reasonable start. You know, we've given you kind of an idea of what we're trying to do. Before we go, I need about 4 people to ask some questions. So Theo, I'll let you ask me a question, and Eric a question. You can ask us anything you want to ask us.
Me? I'll ask, are you a night person or a morning person?
Probably neither. So I have a very narrow bandwidth, Theo. I'm only, but I would say that I get up early. I get up about 6:30. I'll go to bed about 11. So that's why we tell you that if you need to contact us, you can get us anytime, probably between 8 and 10. And so if I've got an email waiting on me in the morning, I'll probably respond to it by 7. So if you send me something at night, I'll get it to you back in the morning. For the students that are in China, I know this is the morning for you. And so I'll be watching for your emails, up until the time that I give up for the day. And then I'll watch for you as soon as I get up in the morning and respond. And I'm sure that Professor Valentine will do that as we think about the differences in time, the time zones. So what are you, Eric? Are you a morning or a night person?
I am definitely a morning person. I grew up in a household with 8 of us, and we had 1 bathroom. And my dad pretty much, commandeered the bathroom from like 6:15 to 7 o'clock. So if you needed to do what you needed to do to get out from school, we had to be up and in queue prior to 6 o'clock. So that's how I grew up, and it kind of stuck with me.
Okay, Joe, ask us a question.
What's your favorite food?
Oh, Eric, I'll let you go first on this. I got to sort this out. I'll be here a while. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. New Orleans has good food, but again, being from Chicago, whenever I go to Chicago, I'm on a food scavenger hunt. So in Chicago, I'm going to get pizza, deep dish pizza, Chicago hot dog, and caramel corn. Those are my 3 favorites. Those are my 3 by far.
Yeah, if I had to pick, I would probably go Italian. I'd probably go Italian. My wife is half Italian, and so she spoiled me over. We've been married over 40 years, so over that period of time, I've had a lot of Italian. So to me, that's where I'd go, Joe. Let's see, who else is running around there that we could pester?
Joe, what's your favorite?
I'm Italian, so Italian food stuff.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right. So Beatrice, we're going to come back to you one more time since you had a mute problem. So ask us the question, Beatrice.
Where did you go to college?
Well, that's a more complicated question than you might think, because we've gone to a whole bunch of them. So go ahead, Eric. Rattle them off.
Yeah, I started at Jackson State University, which is right up the road on 55 in Mississippi. And I got my master's degree from University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana. And finally, I finished my PhD at the University of Memphis. But here's a good story. When I went to University of Illinois, after I left University of Illinois, their basketball team was okay. But after I left University of Illinois, they hired Bill Self, went to the Final Four. And I went to University of Memphis. And after I left the University of Memphis, they hired John Calipari, went to the Final Four. My first job was at K-State. And after I left K-State, they hired Frank Martin, and they went to the Elite Eight. So schools get very, very good in basketball as soon as I leave.
Yeah, so you're the person they fire first before they fire the coach.
Right.
All right, I get it. So for me, I went to University of Missouri as an undergrad and got my master's there as well. I spent roughly 16 years in business. I worked with one of the big national or international accounting firms for about 8 years. Then I was a chief financial officer for another 8 before I went back to get my PhD at the University of Tennessee in accounting, but my support area was in industrial engineering. And so one of the things you'll see is both of us tend to focus on process, and that's kind of why. Let's see. I think that's, we promised to leave everybody else alone, I think. So now one of the things that will happen is every time we meet, I'll put up a list or we'll post a list of favorite students for the night. And those are the students that are going to have to talk to us all night. So it won't be quite as random as tonight. It'll still be somewhat random, but you'll be the special students of the evening. So any other questions you guys have? Any other questions? Madison, you got any questions? You look tired, Madison. Have you had a long day?
I'm in New Jersey, so like it's
8:56
here, so I'm an hour.
Yeah. So go Jersey. All right. Well, with that, I always finish my classes the same way. I tell the class to go away. All right. And so when I do that, you are supposed to go away. So this is how it's going to work. And when I finish this, you need to go away. All right. So I always finish this way. All right. Here we go. Please go away. Now you go away. All right. See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks, Beatrice.
I'm sorry. I don't have a mute problem. It's just that my connection wasn't stable. So I heard you called me, but then like. I'm sorry.
That's the way this works, right? That's the way this works. No worries. We were in class at 3, and my audio cut out for like 10 minutes, so nobody could hear me for 10 minutes. So
that happened this morning on my first class too.
Oh, well, this way you got 2 of us. If one of us can't speak, the other one can. So, so it's all right. Have a good night, Beatrice.
You too. Bye. Good night.
All right. Hey, Eric, this is one of my very best TAs. This is Art. And she's going to be able to help us over the course of the semester. She just absolutely crushed this course in the spring, and she was really helpful in her insights and helped me put together some additional video support, things like that. So I want us to be able to take care, to realize that we can use Art to really help and support the class. So yeah, she's. We're lucky.
You're being too kind.
You can't call me the
no,
best TA yet. I haven't started TAing.
Well, that's why you're the best. All the rest have been disappointing, Art. So here's our chance to finally right a wrong that's followed me for 40 years. So with that, we'll kind of go from there.
Yeah, happy to help with anything I can.
Hey, Eric, I'm going to want to talk to Art here in just a minute afterwards because we got some other stuff to do. But what did you think of tonight, Eric?
It went well. It went well. We yeah, it was certainly smoother than the 10 o'clock, you know. So, but yeah, it went well. So I think we had a good flow here.
All right. Well,
all right. We'll see you guys.
I'll touch base with you tomorrow, and
Okay.
we can do another debrief. Think about the notes and stuff that you've taken, things that you would say. And I forgot to tell you I was dropping Siskel and Ebert because it just never landed all day.
It did, yeah. No one knew. Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, nothing.
All right. Have you ever heard of Siskel and Ebert?
I haven't. I watched you guys' video earlier today, and I saw it, and I was like, I will ask my parents at some point, but I haven't.
And excellent. And on that note,
It was nice meeting
See you, big
you.
man.
You too.
Oh yeah, no, I took it out, Art. I just took it out. So
sorry to disappoint.
So you had good classes today. That's great.
I did. I'm excited. Excited about the semester.
So who do you think is going to be your best professor of the Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays?
Respectfully, I loved all my professors. I think it's going to be Dr. Mara Baumgarten.
Yeah, she's pretty amazing.
Amazing. She was so fun today. I had her at 2 o'clock. It was so lively to be around her.
Yeah, she's got a high energy.
Yeah.
High energy action. So now she's not totally online, is she?
No, it was in person.
Okay. So yeah, more power to her. What room are you guys in?
120. It's like right when you walk in.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're fortunate. She's one of the best. I hate to have somebody. I hate to be teaching in the same semester where one of my students has her as well. It's just
you can just forget I said that then.
I don't know. Well, yeah, at least you didn't take her at the same time you had me, so that's good. Mara's is special. So yeah, that'll be something. How is your work as I get the terminology wrong, the mentor?
Yeah, peer mentor. No, that's been fun. Today was also my first peer mentor TIDES class. So I'm still in the B school. This is me in a breakout room. I've been here since 10 this morning with just back-to-back Zoom, and then I had to run to class.